میخوام یه روشی رو بهتون یاد بدم، روشی که برای خود من خیلی کار کرد و من خیلی این روش رو دوست دارم و با خیلی عزیزان این رو کار میکنیم و همه هم راضی هستن. به این روش میگن که در درون خودت، در ناخودآگاه خودت، وقتی 5 دقیقه در حالت آرامش و مدیتیشن نشستی، اون شخصی رو که بدترین روزها رو باهاش داشتی، که فکر میکنی دشمن اصلیته، که فکر میکنی بدترین کارها رو با تو کرده، اون آدم رو در ذهنت مجسم کن و در کمال آرامش و عشق ببینش، بهش نزدیک شو و در آغوشش بگیر. با وجود اینکه خیلی ازش عصبانی هستی، میدونم، و خیلی ها میگن که نمیتونیم، کار سختیه، میفهمم، ولی وقتی در آغوشش گرفتی، با وجود تمام تنفر، ناراحتی، دلخوری، هر آنچه که در قلبته، در آغوشش بگیر، قلبش رو به قلبت بفشار و در اون موقع طلب بخشش کن. بله، شما باید طلب بخشش کنی. چرا؟ چون در گذر زمان و در زندگی های گذشته یا آینده یا هر جایی از این جهان که شما با این شخص کاری کردید، کارمایی درست کردید که در این زندگی این شخص باید این رفتار رو باتون میکرده، ازش بخشش بطلبین. ما نمیدونیم. دقیقا میدونیم یاد جوک چی میفتم؟ میگه یه نفر خارجی داشته صحبت میکرده، عزیز دلی بهش میگه که من که نمیفهمم چی میگی، ولی اگه داری فحش میدی خودتی. ببینید، ما که نمیدونیم چه کار کردیم، ما که نمیدونیم چی باعث شده که این عزیز دل سر راه ما قرار گرفته و بهترین معلم ما شده، عزیزترین و سختگیرترین معلم ما شده که ما یاد بگیریم، به جای عصبانیت دستش رو ببوسیم. بچه‌ها، در زندگی خود من هم این پیش آمده، کسانی که به ظاهر به من بد کردن ولی همون بدی هاشون راه رو برای من باز کرده، برای رشد من. میدونم خیلی میشنوید این حرف رو، خود من هم اوایل که میشنفتم، اوایل که باید طلب بخشش و اینا رو یاد میگرفتم، برام سخت بود، ولی الان فلسفه‌شو بیشتر میفهمم. مطمئنم که در آینده حتی بیشتر از این جنبه های دیگرش رو خواهم فهمید. اونقدر دانسته های ما نسبت به اتفاقهایی که در جهان هستی میفته اونقدر کم و ناچیزه و اونقدر جهان هستی گسترده هست و اتفاقهای جالب و اتفاقهای دیگری در حال افتادن هست که دانسته ما تا به امروز درسته. معلوم نیست 1 ساعت بعد تمام دانسته های ما نقص خواهد شد با یک دانسته بهتر از طرف یونیورس. میدونید، برای همین بدون تعصب، بدون اینکه قانون برای خودتون بذارید، در رها شدگی و آزادی کامل شنوای صدای نوای درونتون باشید. اگر حتی یک نفر که مخالف عقیده شما رو داره یه چیز میگه، گوش کنید، شاید جواب شما در اونه. گوش کنید به همه، تعصب رو کنار بذارید و در کمال آرامش و آگاهی برای زندگی خودتون تصمیم بگیرید و برای زندگیتون و آیندهتون نقش بندی کنید توی ذهنتون. دوستای گل من دوست دارم که این 2-3 روز رو راجع به سدونا اطلاعاتی به شما بدم که برای خودم هم جالب هست. با من همراه باشید برای ویدیوهای بیشتر. عاشقتونم. با درود و عشق، امروز میخوام باهاتون یه آزمایش خیلی جذاب رو انجام بدم. چشماتون رو ببندید و بدون اینکه لبتون تکون بخوره و صدایی از حنجره شما خارج بشه، درون سرتون بگید عاشقتم یا هر جمله ای رو که دوست دارید. گفتین نه؟ کی کی این جمله رو درون سرتون گفت که حتی شما این رو شنیدین؟ اون من اصلی شماست. عاشقتونم.
A parking lot over there. They could park on the side of the road, but there was hundreds of extra cars that never fit into the parking lots. And so they would block up the road. And there's people who live on the other side of that parking lot. And so people couldn't get the fire trucks or ambulance down that way. And sometimes they could get home because there was too many cars parked.
امروز با کریستال، همه خانومی که با ما همراهه، وقت گرفتیم برای تور. امروز میخوایم بریم و جاهایی که ایشون میگن رو ببینیم. با ما همراه باشید.
It'll tell you about some of Sudona. So this is Sudona. Sudona is a rock formation that was developed over 4 oceans. We've been under the ocean 4 times. And with it being under the ocean 4 times, we have the structures that we have here. So I'll point it out to you when you see them. But at one point we were flat as a pancake. And so when you were at the airport Vista, you were actually underneath the original floor of the ocean. When we look at this one, we'll show you where the floor of the ocean used to be. And then what ends up happening is we actually have a plate line right here. And the plate line has divided the canyon in 2 different directions. And that's where some of the energy comes from, that comes from Sudona. And so it'll come down the plate line. You're down here, and so we're here on the map. And so this is the cathedral. When you were at the airport Vista, you were over here. And then the Bell Rock is over here. And so the chapel you went to is here. And so just to give you an idea, this actually is what we call the Southern Circle. It's the circle of energy. And so most of the homesteaders came in this way, and they saw the big red rocks here, and they stopped here. And so anywhere you see the village of Oak Creek, or you see these little squares, that's where the original ranches were, on that side. Other homesteaders came in through this trail, and it's a dirt road still, and so they would have come in and put their houses here. And so every so often you're going to see these little square things on our map, and that's the only places we can build. Everything else becomes the forest. And so we have vortexes in our neighborhood as well as in the forest, so it's not like the forest is the only place to get it. Some of the stores will have vortexes in their parking lot as well. So if you happen to go to the one past Poco Diablo, it's got the big rooster in the parking lot there. He says he's got a vortex in his driveway. And so you can sit under a chair where the vortex is that he said. You know, I've lived here for 13 years, and there's vortexes in our backyards and in our front yard. So we have them all over the place. Back in 84 is when the word vortex was uttered. Before 84, people used other words to describe it. So the Native Americans said that you come here to feel the heartbeat of the land. And when you come to feel the heartbeat of the land, you're feeling your heartbeat, and you're feeling the rocks. And so you come to feel the heartbeat. The Navajos said you come here and you listen to the voices of the land, the intuition that you have, the intuition that other people share with you. The wind as it comes through and it whistles and stuff like that, you hear the voices of the land. And so that was another way to say it, vortex. And then that we had about 60 different movies filmed here. They thought this was the most creative center. So people came for the creativity here. Other people, the natives, came here for thousands of years to feel the healing of the land. And so you come to find healing within the land. And so in 87, we had this big event. Do you remember last month when the planets were aligning across the sky? Did you notice that the 7 planets were aligning across the sky at night, and we were the 8th planet. And so in the process of it, all the planets were on their own vortex rotation of an orbit, and they all started to line up in one place. Well, back in 87, they did that too. And so in 87, they made a map of Sedona, and they said, you know, we can send you to 4 different types of vortexes. And so people were sent over to Boynton Canyon, And so I don't know if you've heard about Boynton Canyon, but Boynton Canyon is where the natives who lived up here actually emerged out of the canyon. So Yavapai people believe that they were birthed out of the canyon there. So a lot of people will go over to Boynton Canyon. Then they said if you went to the airport vista would be a nice place so that you could see all of Sedona. When you're up on the saddle, you see the south part and the north part of Sedona and the west side. And so you see that when you're out there. And so that was the second place. Then the third place was to come to the cathedral, but not to come to the climbing side, the side we're on, but by the creek. And so the flow of the water brought in the feminine energies of the cathedral. And then Bell Rock was known as the fourth place. And since then, everyone thinks we only have 4 vortexes, but there's hundreds of them. And so when you said you wanted a feminine one, it's like, well, they're all over the place. You know, I found feminine vortexes down this trail over here. They're up here. They're all through Sedona. So 2 bigger ones are the cathedral and the Castle Rock, which is the one next to us. Imagine your electrical system of your body. Your brain is the main part, and then it goes down your spine. And so your brain is referred to as the crown chakra. The top of your head is that, and then the third eye is known as the frontal lobe, which is how you determine things, how you think things. Goes into the different glands of the body, and so that's the third eye. That's where you carry illusions or perceptions, you carry truth, and so it's kind of an interesting part of who you are. And then as it goes down into your spine, it'll wrap around by your neck, and then people talk about the throat chakra. And when you have a balanced throat chakra, you're more assertive. When your throat chakra is not as balanced, you're going to be more passive and hold your words in. And aggressive people overuse their words. So the throat is really important on speaking your truth, knowing your truth, speaking your truth. And then the heart chakra is where all of it goes around to the heart, and that's where you feel the emotions. But a lot of people find that they put the truth in their heart, but they also put illusions in it. So the emotion can be very much of an illusion. So we call them wounded hearts or strong hearts. Whether you have wisdom in your heart or whether you're holding wounds, you know. And shuttle, you can hear me with the shuttle, right? A lot of times people get stuck in the wounds of their past, and when we tell people to follow their heart, we tell them not to follow the wounds of their heart, but to follow the wisdom of their heart. Then the spine wraps around and goes to the solar plex, and so we call that the solar plexus. That's where if you step up just a little bit, the solar plex is where you breathe. And so it's your breathing center. They call it your chi center. It's your energy center. It's where everything starts. That's where your empowerment is. Do you get that? And so when people don't feel like they stand in their power, they feel de-empowered. And when they feel de-empowered, they feel like they've given away their power. We tell people you never can give away your power because it's within you. The only thing you can do is retract it and not use it. So when people feel de-empowered, they're not using their intuition, they're not using their wisdom and things like that. And they will probably have a throat that's passive. And when you do that, you're not speaking your truth. And so your heart is probably pretty wounded. And so you can tell when you're out of balance by how you talk to somebody or how you tell them about your life story, because you can go, oh, it feels like they're wounded from the past, but they're not speaking up. Or they're going to be very aggressive because they want to be heard. And so it's kind of crazy. The other chakras are the lower chakras, which is where the gonads are in the lower back. And so the lower back is referred to as the sacral part of your spine. And a lot of people take on too much responsibility. And so it feels like their back is always out. They got too much to carry. And their ovaries are in front for females and gonads for the men. And in the process of it, that's where you create. But if you've overburdened yourself, you don't create as much. So we're in the area here, which is called the sacral area. And so this is the sacral area of Sedona right here. So you got over to the chapel, which is part of the sacral area, and over here at Cathedral. So the sacral area is here for you to figure out, what do you want to create? Why are you here on this earth? What is your life purpose? And so it's a great place. So I'll tell you that the last chakra is the root chakra, where your tailbone is. And that's where, do you feel accepted or do you not feel accepted? Do you feel included? Do you feel not included? And so when you feel when you feel that you're accepted in a family, it's way different. But if you feel like you're the black sheep of the family, or you don't fit in anywhere, you don't fit in a job or a group of people, it's usually the root chakra is out of balance. So in the 70s, before the word vortex, put their voices out there. If you follow a line that goes through Sedona like this, in the 70s they didn't use the word vortex, but they used the word chakras. This would have been,
instead of vortex they were using
yeah. And so this was crown chakra, this is third eye chakra, this is more throat chakra, this is more solar plex, this is more sacral, and this is more root chakra. And so it's a real easy system. Once you figure it out, it has a lot to do with your spine and stuff like that. It's your energy centers. To be considerate of others is because everyone's coming with a different point of view. People come from all over the world to be here. And when they come here, the last thing they want to do is be next to somebody filming a TikTok that is going to go really loud and noisy, or somebody who's talking on their phone, you know. And so to be in the moment while you're here. And that's the key about the vortex, is to be in the moment of it. So I'm going to walk you around here, show you some of the other energies of the land, which is iron in the rock and crystals in the rock. And so that's what's bringing the energies to what you're feeling.
با درود و عشق. همیشه راجع به مثبت اندیشی داریم صحبت میکنیم و اینکه مثبت اندیشی و کلام شما زندگی شما رو میسازه. بچه ها، با وجود اینکه این حرف خیلی درسته، اعمال مثبت در کنار افکار مثبت هست که زندگی رو میسازه. فقط نشستن و فکر کردن به چیزهای مثبت نیست که زندگی شما رو درست میکنه. پاشین و حرکت بکنید. عاشقتونم.
They busted the crust too, and they created pathways, and people for thousands of years have been on these pathways. This is not a pathway, or what they're walking on isn't a pathway. Those are new pathways, and so we call them off paths. So we don't want to create any new trails, because when they do that, it kills the vegetation. And so let me show you what the crust is, so you know what it is. So, erosion started breaking the rock downward, and it started to wear away. And then when it was eroding, it was actually repositioning it up on top up there. And then another ocean came in, and 4 oceans record up here. And so if you look on the top of that, see that pencil-looking line, thin line up on top? That's actually the height of the water. And so at one point the ocean was as high as that line.
Do we know how long ago?
That gray line, 300 million years ago.
Wow.
That gray line up there, the pencil line, I can't tell you because I don't know if it's from the ocean for a second or third ocean. But I just know that that's the height that's been here. And so where you're actually subterranean, so you're way into Mother Earth's heartbeat. And so that's why you come here. You come to feel the heartbeat of the land. Do you get that? It's kind of fun. And so the whole journey is all the energies are coming at once. And so the more, it's a sensory experience. The more you sense energy, the more you will feel it. The more you sense things, the more you'll feel things. The more you feel things, the more you'll sense them, the more you're aware of them. Using your imagination, using all of your senses, your visual, your smell, your touch, your tactile energy, and you're using everything, your thoughts as well, because they're energies. So everything's energy. And so you tap into the realm of energy when you're here, because this is an energy. It's an energetic way of connecting to things. So if you can tell when somebody's happy, you can feel the radiance coming off of them. You get that? And so these rocks have the same kind of radiance. So you get into that kind of energy when you're here.
Yeah, even though when I enter to a house or somewhere, I can tell that place is happy or not.
Exactly.
So yeah, the house we rented, you know, as Airbnb, as soon as I entered, the house was so happy.
It is happy.
You
It's a
felt
happy
the
house.
same, yeah.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
it was so happy. Yeah.
And so Sedona is actually one of the few places in Arizona that there were not battles, not fighting. And so we don't have that on the land here.
Okay.
And so it's really kind of cool. So we have people come
No
from all
bloodshed.
over the world here, and they find peace. So one of the things is if you find peace and serenity, you found the vortex here too. And the only
Might have
thing
been
vortex.
because of the vortex that there was peace, because there were people, people wouldn't be as agitated here.
Yeah, it's the peace comes from the coloration of the land. It opens the limbic system of the brain. The coloration of the reds and the oranges and the greens is a color therapy. Brings out peace and serenity. Because you're in nature, it brings out peace and serenity. The land isn't imprinted with angry experiences. It's imprinted more with the joy. And you can tell when it's not, because then you're going to feel a discordant energy. You're going to feel an off energy. But the more you feel, the more you experience. And it's spiraling energy. It comes from the ground. It spirals past you. You become in the spiral. You become the spiral.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so really that's really the simple definition of a vortex. And so this actually has a lot of spiraling energy coming from Mother Earth. And so it's measured way more. So the spiraling energy goes all the way up past these rocks, all the way up into the atmosphere. And so we measure it. We measure the heartbeat of Mother Earth by a program called Schumann's resonance. And so if you look up Schumann's resonance, you will feel the heartbeat of the land going way up into the atmosphere. So if there would have been white clouds up here, you would have seen the white clouds start to swirl. And so you're going to look for everything. So indicators would be how you feel, what do you see, as well as what is in the trees. The trees come from the roots twist, and then the Schumann's resonance, the pulse of the land here. The crystals, you want to look for crystals in the ground because the crystals grew in the water here. And then the other thing is everything here pretty much spirals. Everything. The flowers spiral, the trees spiral. And so you're going to notice all of those things. And those are what we call indicators. And so I'll show you indicators. It acts like a net across the sand. And since it acts as a net across the sand, it holds it in place when the wind blows. And so when the wind blows, it doesn't make it into a dust devil, it holds it in place. So if seeds dropped on it, it would have a place to grow. And so that's one thing that the crust does. The other thing is it's green right now because it rained the other day.
Okay.
And when it's not wet, it turns black and it curls up. And so as soon as the rain hits it, it's going to act like a sponge. And so it springs open just like that when the water hits it. And so it holds water for the plants. And so if you happen to see it, there's some over here that's more brown. And if you were to feel it, you'll feel that it's spongy. And so with your camera, you can actually see way down in here that the crust actually looks like little stars on the land. Oops. And the little stars on the land is what is what it is. And so it opens up like that. And so this is the life force of Sedona. Without it, we don't have vegetation. We don't have bushes. We don't have. So if you look right behind you, it's all been busted over there. And so there's nothing growing there. And so the growth of Sedona is really important. When you see a juniper, you see the roots actually are twisting from the energies, the magnetic energies of the earth actually twist the whole tree. It goes all the way up through the branches and through the trunk of the tree. So this is going clockwise or counterclockwise? What do you think?
Oh, this is counterclockwise, isn't it?
Yeah, it's counterclockwise.
But yesterday I was feeling something clockwise, I think.
Well, it depends on where you were at. This particular one, the trees will show up either clockwise or counterclockwise. The energy will be one or the other. if we see more clockwise trees, we call it feminine energies.
Okay,
If we
that's
see
what I was
more masculine, we call it or more counterclockwise, we call it masculine. And so you were the one at the airport?
The chapel?
Who went to the airport?
Airport,
She went to the
Oh, you went to the airport. Most of the trees at the airport, if you had been looking at them, are all counterclockwise. And so they called the airport mesa a very strong masculine energy. Counterclockwise is masculine, and clockwise is feminine.
But here is
Did I-
feminine energy, isn't
It is?
So how come this is counterclockwise?
Well, because it's not the only tree here.
Okay.
And so it's the dominance of the trees. And so this could have an energy line over here, more masculine. But anyway, you're seeing it too. Native Americans lived in these red rocks. They would follow the animals. If the animals left, if there was a drought, they left. And so some made cliff dwellings in rocks way up on where the caves would be and stuff like that. Some lived on the ground. Well, for thousands of years, they migrated all around the west part of the United States, all the way down to Mexico, all the way up to Canada. Well, and when the Homestead Act started in 1832, there were natives who were populated all through the West, but not big cities of them, just small groups of them. Well, the cavalry started moving a lot of the natives onto reservations, and everyone talks about the land was taken from them. And the natives would say, well, they actually didn't take the land from us, but you would feel that they did, because they never said that you could own Mother Earth. And so the natives who used to live here were actually taken down to Phoenix after signing treaties. The problem is not everyone who was out here, the cavalry and the government, was honest. And so some of those treaties were never fulfilled. And so the land kind of was taken from them. And so it's kind of interesting. I'm part Native, and so I'm part Cherokee. So the Cherokees of the East got put all the way over into Oklahoma. And so they call that the Trail of Tears. Our people who were here in this area at the time that the cavalry came in, they were the Yavapais and the Apaches. And so if you see the word Yavapai here, those are the people of the sun. Apache was always known as the enemy to other tribes, and so that's what their name means, is enemy. Navajos and Hopis were here probably 1,000 years or so ago, but they went north. And so Hopis and Navajos are north. Apaches and Yavapai were the last tribe here. So they were taken out in 1868 down past Phoenix. And so if you happen to see the Apache Junction down there, that's part of the Apache Reservation. Take a handful of your steps. Pay attention to them. Because any little stone can trip you. And you don't want to do that. And so this is a dry creek we're going to walk through. So this dry creek had some water the other day, so it's a little damp. And so our ground doesn't absorb water very fast because it hits rocks. And when it hits the rocks, it doesn't sink in very fast, so it takes a little longer. So the ground is a little damp still. Once in a while there will be enough water, like an inch or two across all the rocks. Sometimes it might be a flood. Rocks, you got striped rocks, you got two-tone rocks, you got layered rocks. You have this bluish kind of rock right over here. And so there's a base rock, which is that one over here. And all the other rocks are kind of like sitting on it. Since it's been such a dry year for us, you'll find that weeds and stuff are growing in our creek bed, which normally don't grow in our. And so we've only had a few days of rain. And so when you pick up a stone like this, it's the sandstone that has rehardened, or it's a sandstone that is eroding. And so these are just little small pieces. And so in the journey of it, sometimes people pick up stones to carry with them as they meditate, and stuff like that. It's green. So it's growing really well.
But the other side is all dry.
And then the other side is very dry.
So what is it?
How old do you think this tree is?
I don't know, couple hundred?
Well, do you remember how old the other tree was?
800, you said?
Each side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is probably over 1,000, right?
Over 2,000.
Oh my God.
Over 2,000. So let's go over
2,000.
and see if you can feel the pulse of this tree.
So why the part is dry?
Oh, well, why do you think? What do you think happened to her?
I think this is just what I can tell. It's just like two trees. There might be two in one, and then the other part doesn't get enough water. I don't know.
Well, this one for sure is one tree.
This is one tree.
And so when you look back at it,
The roots here inside
Yes.
the soil,
roots are
they
inside.
they are getting moisture, but this side the roots are out. You can't get moisture.
so there was a flood at one point, where heavy water, as it came off the rock and it came down through here and washed away all the sand that kept the roots in the ground. So it's not getting the nutrients. This side still is getting the nutrients. That's why it's still greening.
Oh, that's
Still
interesting.
growing, still putting seeds on it. So one of the lessons this one teaches is to nurture oneself, because when you don't nurture yourself, kind of like you wither away. And a lot of her roots have been broken there. All of the trees in Sedona have had to come from the red rock, out of the red rock. And so she's got a core energy down through her. She got roots that go in all directions. She's got them as deep as she can, looking for water. And so why we call her a she is because she has berries on her.
Oh, that's
Then
because
the
of the
question
berries.
is, what is her essence? Is she masculine or feminine? And then you look at the twist in the branches. So is that clockwise or counterclockwise?
Counterclockwise.
To me, it's clockwise.
Clockwise for me.
Clockwise.
To me, too close.
And so if your right hand can wrap around it, it's clockwise. If your left hand goes around it, it's counterclockwise. So it actually carries the essence of a feminine.
Feminine?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if you take a moment and touch her.
Actually, when I touched it, I had, like the vision. I could see all this, little roads that goes inside. And I seen when the water flood was here, and then when, the tree was trying to survive and then trying to keep herself alive. And then when she lost half of it, but is still alive. And the message that I received was just, I'm just like you. The tree was just like, look at you. You're just like me. We've been struggling a lot, but we are alive, and then we are trying to keep alive going. And it was a huge message. My heart started, like.
And it's not that you just survived, as you were thriving.
You tried, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The message was so deep, and my heart started like, bim, 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 bim,
Yeah. What do you think you remember about her?
What I seen was just like how the only thing now it's in my mind is how she tried so hard to continue for her journey, and she didn't give up. That's why I got that moment that I didn't give up, and you don't give up in life.
And she's not just surviving, she's thriving.
Yeah. And then because I'm the same way, no matter what happened, no matter what I went through, I'm helping everyone. I'm doing my best every morning. I wake up to, do as much as I can to make the earth a better place to live. So that's why I got the message. We are the same way, and don't give up. We are the same way.
Don't give up. And keep on going.
you said this is a baby. Which tree's baby it is?
This one. It's a young tree.
Okay.
It's the young tree of the red cedar. So the red tree that we were just at is a red cedar. This is a baby of a red cedar. And so that great-grandmother tree over there has spread her seeds everywhere. This is all gravelly rock that float over it. And some of them are round stones, some of them are not. I look for the round ones that look like marbles. And so I like the round ones that roll in your hand. And so they're kind of fun. But I also like the flat ones. And so when people say that they have a worry stone, we say, no, we have a serenity stone. And so this is the serenity. Every time you rub it, it brings serenity. And so enjoy whatever stone you picked up.
Oh, this is a crystal. Okay, now I see it.
And so that crystal filled up a crack. And then it fell out the crack this way and went all the way down. So it's a silicon dioxide quartz crystal. It's a crystal that used to run radios. It's the crystal that used to run watches. It's the crystals that we use in our computers to do microchips. It's our technology is in that crystal. There's big pieces of it over there. There's some over there.
This one, right?
Yeah. And so our brain carries the frequencies of crystals. So between the iron and the rocks and the crystals, that's what you're feeling. The magnetic ley lines that run through the earth is what you're feeling. Now to keep people from walking off trail.
Oh.
And so this is a sign that tells you that we're trying to let this ground over here revegetate, have new bushes come in it, you know, and because people have walked on it, busted the crust, and a lot of times they still do it, even with the fence. Most volcanic rocks are black. But here on this cathedral, the volcanic rock turned out to be blue.
And why is that?
The magma came up through our red sand, probably intermixed with the minerals here, and it shows up more blue.
Wow.
Iron is black, and so you would think that would be blacker than black, but it turned out blue. It's the only place in Sedona where the lava rock became blue. Beautiful blue. And see, we'll stop in the shade for a second here, because I keep stopping you in the sun. But see, the rock looks different.
It does actually, yeah.
And so the guardians start to show up even more. And you start seeing within the rock. See how the black lines come down?
Yeah.
They refer to that as water lines, called Navajo varnish. So it's varnishing the rock. Over there, towards the middle right, you see no varnish because the rock has fallen. Wow. And so you can see inside the rock. You see all the layers? It's really kind of cool. So the base of it is red, the line is limestone, the gray one, and then the top is orange. Less iron in the orange, more iron in the gray. Or not gray, but red. And so you have all these different layers of iron here. So there's the courthouse rock way out there. The resting maiden over here. And you see a couple more twisted trees. See the twisted tree out there? When the greenery comes off the tree, it's easy to see it. The twist. Pine trees twist as well, but they don't show you their twist. So you're going to want to have cedars and junipers do your twist for you. So what do you think? Feminine or masculine twist out there?
That one?
The one back there. Is
Masculine?
That's
Is
feminine
it
to me.
clockwise or counter?
To me, it's counter.
The one that has no leaves?
Yep. It's clockwise.
It is clockwise?
It's feminine
So
to me,
you're going,
yeah.
you're going way to the right, back and around. So it's clockwise. That's okay. They get easier the more I ask you. And so the pinyon pine tree bark is so teeny, it's hard to follow it. This is a place where the animals walk. The coyotes run through here.
But there are coyotes here.
Coyotes too.
Hmm.
So
What else?
Fox, deer,
wow.
bobcat, mountain lion,
Oh.
yep, snake, tarantula, you know, those type of stuff. And so there's a lot. Come closer over here. You see they're taller now. Now you see them at a different view. An agave only blooms once in its lifetime. Oh, and if you zoom in on it, you'll see how big it is.
This
This
one?
one's about 70
This
years
one?
old. Yes, it's
Wow.
about 70 years old and it hasn't bloomed yet.
This is agave, right?
Agave, yep.
70 years old and not bloom yet.
It
Wow.
only blooms once
One in how many
on the
years?
last year of its life.
Wow.
And the yellow flowers. The yellow flowers stay for a couple of weeks, and then they fall off, and then the bases turn into seed pods, green ones, and then for another month they make seeds, and so then the seeds will, the plant will die out, so the seeds pods will turn brown, and by fall they will snap open like that,
Wow.
and seeds will go everywhere. This is chaparral. It's all budding, ready to go. See the buds on it? They're like little yellow balls on the end. So in another week or two, we're going to be full of these little yellow flowers. This is a sacred herb called chaparral. They use it for healing and teas, salves. And we don't have sage that grows here, so they would have burned it like sage, but look at that. So I would touch it and bring the energies of the healing to you. There's more greenery over here if you want a full
It has
hand of it.
waves. It gives you waves.
It does. And feel it go into every cell of your body.
Oh my God.
You don't have to burn it, drink it, or use it as a salve. You can just touch it. And so when you gently touch it, you see it. So this twist too. And
There
so
is a twist too. Oh my God, yeah. Everything twists.
everything twists exactly. Notice they fell over. The roots had kept it in the ground, but it fell over. Instead of falling over to just die on the ground, it ended up rerouting its journey. And so it shows great strength.
But
to be able to
it's
overcome.
twist this way, right?
Counterclockwise.
Clockwise is feminine.
This is counter.
That's counter.
Counterclock. Okay.
And so that's masculine. Of the north. So that's Loy Canyon, and then you see part of Boynton Canyon has the white rock on top, and Dome Mesa and Fay Canyon is in front of it, and Boynton Canyon is up there. This is the end of the airport, Mesa. See the mesa? Bounces down like this. That's the dome of the Thunder Mountain. And so Thunder Mountain is one of our taller inside rocks. And so it's really tall. You can see the gray line that goes underneath the trunk of the tree, the elephant, all the way over to where the Madonna sits on the rock.
Those cold.
The two big ones on the end are called the praying hands, or you can call them the two nuns. Because it's a Catholic church over there, we call them the nuns. But the little one in the middle is called the Madonna. And so when you went up there, she stood there with looking like she was holding a baby. From here, she looks like her feet are over the edge.
Oh, I can see that.
Now, if you look at the second one, the second big one, before the chapel was in there, those two rocks were called the grandmother-grandfather rock. And if you look at the second one right now, the grandfather face is showing up.
Yeah.
And so can you see the face in the second rock?
I see.
And it only happens a couple times a day. And so I'm going to take a picture of it because I always miss this. And in front of it is like red stairs. And so in the 1880s, they thought it looked more like a courthouse. The natives never saw it as a courthouse because they didn't have courts. And
What the court was,
yeah. And so if you look at it from the other side, when you're on the other side, it's hollow. It's a horseshoe.
Horseshoe, yeah.
And in the hollow part of it, they call it the eagle's nest. And so on the other side, it's called the eagle's nest. The finger that sticks up there is the top of the bell, and the whole bell got swirled around by water. And then this big one over here is Castle Rock. So when you wanted to go to Cathedral, I put down Castle and Cathedral, because if you couldn't climb this rock, I would have taken you to that. And so you can get to this level on that one over there with not as long as a hike. But this one's a phenomenal. So then when you look up here, you see the layers and layers and layers. And so it's really beautiful to see the layers. And so however people don't climb it, they will just follow the leader.
یه مدیتیشن باحال این بالا روی سنگ ها داشتیم با کریستال و بچه ها. جای تک تکتون خالی. اونقدر اینجا زیبا بود و انرژی زیبا بود که خدا میدونه.
Walking through a stormy day, praying for a brighter way, lost in heavy clouds of doubt. God, please help me find my route. God, show me the
یه صحبت خودمانی بکنیم، یه صحبتی که بین من و شما. و این صحبت خودمانی این هست: امروز تو راه که می آمدم تصادفایی رو می دیدم، افرادی که با عجله میخواستم به مقصد برسم. با خودم داشتم فکر میکردم واقعا عجله برای چی هست؟ کجا داریم میریم چنین شتابان؟ توجه کردید در روزمرگی هامون به قدری عجله داریم هدفها از بین رفته. توجه کردین که نقاط امنی رو برای خودمون در طول روز درست میکنیم که نهایتاً تو همون نقطه های امن خودمون گیر میافتیم و دیگه نمیتونیم ازش بیرون بیایم. همون تلاشمون بر این هست که بتونیم خونه بهتر، بتونیم ماشین بهتر، بچه هامون رو دانشگاه بهتر و فکر میکنیم هرچی تحصیلاتشون بالاتر باشه در زندگی هاشون موفق ترن. ولی نشون میده تحقیقات که اینطور نیست. اینها وقتی که بچه‌ای بلد نباشه زندگی کنه، آرزوهای خودش رو زندگی کنه، موفقیتی در کار نیست. حتی اگر دکتر، مهندس یا حتی محقق موفقی باشه در کارش. بیایید به بچه هامون یاد بدیم که بچه هامون خوشحال بودن رو، آرزوهاشون رو زندگی کردن رو تمرین کنن. بیایید ما هم به این کار تن بدیم، بیایید واقعا زمان بذاریم و خودمون هم آرزوهامون رو زندگی کنیم. مسافرت اگر میخواید برید به فردا نندازید، پاشید همین امروز با کمترین امکانات برید. برای کوچکترین چیزهایی رو که میتونید انجام بدید انجامشون بدید. یه کتاب جالبی راجع به این صحبت میکنه که اگه لیمو داری باهاش لیموناد درست کن، صبر نکن، کوچکترین چیزی رو که داری استفاده کن و از اون بهترین لحظه و بهترین چیز رو برای خودت بساز. چرا که نه؟ واقعا چرا که نه؟ من امروز تو راه طولانی همینطور که می آمدم فرصت اینکه وایسم و فیلم بگیرم رو نداشتم، چون می ترسیدم به تاریکی بخورم. ولی در تمام راه مطالبی رو که دوست داشتم راجبشون صحبت کنم رو با خودم داشتم مرور می کردم. یکی از چیزایی که برام جالب بود راجبش صحبت بکنم این بود که همین که فکر میکنیم که باید به جایی برسیم، هممون عجله داریم که به جایی برسیم. توی راه نگاه میکردم، همه با عجله داشتن میرفتن و همه میخوام به جایی برسن. کجا داریم میرسیم؟ جا همین جاست که الان هستیم. آیا لذت از همین جایی که هستیم میبریم و واقعا نمیبریم؟ و این برای من خیلی جای فکر داشت. خیلی دوست داشتم یکی یکی این آدم ها رو در اونجا بیستونم و بهشون بگم ریلکس. آخر هدفی که داری دنبالش بدو میرسی، نهایتا میخوای برسی خونه و لذتی نبردی، ریلکس باش. ولی متاسفانه این شانس رو نداشتم. من عاشق تک تکتون هستم. امروز با من همراه باشید که این 2 روز رو برای شما از جایی میخوام فیلم بگیرم که واقعا میزان انرژی موجود بین این شهر اونقدر زیاده که فقط باید باشید تا بدونید. من عاشقتونم، همراه هم باشید.
دیگه به آخر مسافرتمون در این کوه زیبا رسیدیم. داریم برمیگردیم طرف ماشین و دیگه آخرین راه هاست تا سوار ماشین شیم و برگردیم. با کریستال زیبا این جرنی و سفر بسیار زیبا بود و برای من که مثل تولد دیگر بود. امیدوارم برای همه اونایی که اینجا هستن همینطور باشه و روز بسیار خوبی برای همه باشه. میریم تا برسیم به ماشینمون. یکی از دوستا پاش یه ذره صدمه خورده و همش مراقب بودیم که ایشون بتونن درست بیان بالا و برگردن. اینم از ون خوشگل ما که اینجا منتظرمونه. من رسیدم به ون، بقیه تو راه هم به خاطر دوستمون که پاش صدمه خورده اونا یه ذره آرومتر اومدن. خیلی خیلی سفر خوبی بود، جای همتون خالی. عاشقتونم.